She is my favorite thing here on She's Gotta Have It. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guests along. We're not going to be Skyping tonight, but it's okay. You're still going to hear my fabulous Miss Get You Some, Rita Pardo. Rita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How y'all doing?
Hey, Rita, how are you? Thank you so much for being
I'm
patient,
well.
girl. I appreciate you. You know you are my man, 50 grand, girl. So thank you so much for being patient while we work through the technical difficulties. So how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Trying not to go crazy with kids here and they being extra, but you know how they do.
Yes, girl. Yes, I definitely know how it is with having kids. That's why my one I got one at football practice and the other one is at home. She better be cleaning up my kitchen while I'm here at the radio station.
Okay. Okay. I heard that.
So Rita is the founder and creator of Naturally Me and You. She is a mom of three beautiful children, the wife of a wonderful husband. And Rita, can you tell my audience a little bit more about you that I didn't share?
Okay, my name is Rita Pardo. I'm originally from Ock, Alabama, which is a small southern town about 70 miles south of Montgomery. That's Ock, OPP, not Opelika. I know everybody gets it confused. Is it Opelika? I said, no. I said Ock, OPP. Three letters. It's founded by a man named Henry Ock.
Okay.
So, my mother and father, they're still there. I have an older sister that's there. I have four siblings. I have two brothers and two sisters, and I am the baby girl. I have a brother that's younger than me. He lives here in Georgia with me. My other sister lives in Georgia.
Mhm.
My oldest brother lives in Alabama. I have three children, ages 4, 6, and 17. My 17-year-old has a lot of medical issues, and she's medically fragile, but she is what I call my miracle baby.
Right.
Um, a little bit more about me. I'm married, been married 13 years. I've known my husband almost 20 years. We've been together 20 years, but we've been married 13. And he's a truck driver, and I had to quit my job to take care of my oldest daughter, and that's kind of how Natural Me and You got started.
Wow, wow. That is amazing. The fact that you have a husband that was supportive enough to understand the value of you needing to be home, that is just kudos to him, hats off to him. And I know what that's like. I mean, I have a child who, when he was born, he had a lot of lung issues because he was a preemie, and then food allergies to the point where even when I nursed him, it took us months to find out what all his food allergies were. I pretty much could only eat chicken and rice, and like I couldn't even eat bananas. I could eat salad with no salad dressing. I mean, there was just so many things he was allergic to. I lost like 30 pounds, pregnancy pounds, because he was just so allergic to everything. I couldn't even eat French
Mm-hmm.
fries or, yeah, I mean, you name it. There were just so many things. So, and my husband saw the value in me staying home with my children. Um, as well. So kudos and hats off to those men who understand the value of their wives being home with their children. So you brought up Naturally Me and You. And so I wanted to ask you, why did you start, or how did Naturally Me and You get started?
Well, I've always worked. I've worked since I was 16 years old.
Hmm.
I'll be 46 in November. So when I had to quit my job back in June of 2014, it's not like me just to sit home. I didn't mind being home with my children because at
Hmm.
that time I had 2-year old and a 3-year old. So it kind of made sense to be at home, but
Hmm.
we still needed another income. Well, when I got the news that my daughter could no longer attend school, that I had to quit my job. I retired from the school system of 10 years. Now
Okay.
that was hard. It was fearful because I carried the medical insurance, and with my daughter needing
Wow.
so much insurance, that we lost our insurance because I was the one who carried it. We were able
Mm.
to get it through my husband's job, but there was still a lack of coverage there because that Cobra is so expensive. Oh my goodness, I don't even
Right.
want to talk about how expensive
Yeah, it's
that
it's not
Cobra
even
is.
worth it. I
So
remember when Don lost his job, it was the
yes,
same thing. We were
it's
like,
awful.
Cobra, really?
So I quit. After I quit, I said, you know what? I cannot just sit here and not do anything.
Hmm.
I've got to do something. So I had already kind of started dibbling and dabbling in shea butter and coconut oil and olive oil
Hmm.
and a little bit of essential oils to try to help clear up my daughter's eczema because she had eczema so bad. that she would have scabs and she would bleed and her pajamas would be stained with blood and her sheets, I would have to change the sheets. So I
Mhm.
just started buying just black sheets. I wouldn't buy any type of cute colors like she wanted, like the pinks and the purples and the
Wow.
pastels. I just bought black sheets, and she would just cry sometimes. She'd wake up in the middle of the night crying, talking about that her skin itches and it feels like it's falling off. I said, you know what? Now that I have the time, why don't I dedicate this time and try to
Mm.
find some natural alternatives to help my daughter? Well, I started with the shea butter and I didn't like how it felt. It was just kind of too thick and it got under my fingernails. I said, I don't like this.
Mhm.
So I looked on YouTube about how to make it softer, and there was this video about whipped shea butter. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And so I kind of followed the video, but I like to cook, so but I don't ever follow a recipe. I just add my own flair. So I did
Mhm.
the same thing with the body butter. I added some ingredients, and I looked up the ingredients. I read about them. I looked up what natural butters and oils and essential oils help with eczema,
Mhm.
and I started incorporating those different ingredients into this body butter. And I
Wow.
used to call it my showing up good stuff. And people was like, what is that? What is that you using on your daughter's hair? I said, that's my showing up good stuff.
I
She said,
love it. I
showing
love
up good
it.
stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's good for everything. That's why I call it showing up good stuff. You can use it on your
Mhm.
hair. You can use it on your skin. You can use it on a dog if you need to. I was like,
Right.
well, we need to get some of that. I said, it's not for sale. It's something I'm using for my daughter. Well, you need to sell it. And
Right.
I used to hand out these little snowflake cups that I got from the grocery store and just pass it out to different friends and family. And then it just took off from one jar of body butter that was helping my daughter with
Wow.
her eczema. In
Wow.
fact, today is my 3 year anniversary.
Wow, wow. That is amazing, girl. And I love it. I love the resourcefulness of moms. It's like when there's a need there and we don't see it being filled, we make a way. And so I just think
Yes.
it's a beautiful thing that you have had it within your heart and that you saw you had the fortitude to see it through. Like you said, you added your own flair to it and you made something. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
know that I've purchased your products as well. And I'm telling you I've never had anything like any of your products down to I just got my sunscreen, all natural sunscreen, because now that I'm
Thank you.
in my 40s, I'm becoming more sensitive, even down to deodorants now. So I have to wear natural deodorants as well. And so I just think it's fantastic, Rita, that you are not only helping your family, but I'm sure there's so many other families. And I've talked to moms who have purchased your eczema creams and things of that nature, and they rave about your products. And so I just think it's fantastic that you're doing that. And so how long have you been creating different all natural products?
3 years today. Today is my 3 year anniversary.
Oh,
I opened up my
wow.
I opened up my store on a site called Store Envy 3 years ago today.
Wow. Well, congratulations. That is awesome,
Thank you.
girl. I'm so
Thank you.
excited for you. That is just fantastic. So let me ask you this. What other products do you make? I know you make products for skin, but for those who don't know about Rita and Naturally Me and You, what are some other products that you make?
I make products for babies, like a baby
Mm.
wash, um, a natural baby soap. I make call it a bum bum butter, which is like a diaper rash cream. I make a baby powder that's made out of herbs. I don't use any talc or any of that.
Mhm.
Um, has a little bit of bentonite clay, and I grind up my own herbs for that baby
Wow.
powder.
Wow.
Um, I make things for dogs. In fact, I had an order today for some doggy perfume, which is basically just a spray that you spray on your dogs. That sometimes when dogs go outside, they get to smelling like outside.
Mhm. Mhm.
They
My
smell good.
dog smells like
They've
a
been running and they sweating. It's a little
right.
perfume that you put on them that can
Wow.
carry them in between visits to the groomer. One of the biggest things that have taken off are my natural cleaning products. I'm one of
Mm.
the few black companies that sell cleaning products. It's getting more out there now, but I've been selling it now for about 2.5 years,
Mhm.
and it has taken off because people see the value in using natural products and for their home with their cleaning, and that's one reason I started was when my daughter was a baby. My youngest daughter, she's 4 now. She went into the kitchen cabinet. Her oldest brother, DJ, he took off the lock, and
Mm.
she sprayed fantastic in her mouth,
Oh
and I
gosh.
had to I had to rush her to the emergency room. When I got back from the emergency room, I threw away everything in the cabinet that
Mm.
said had some type of chemical in it. And from there, that's when the natural cleaning product started.
Wow, wow. Now, what would you say to people that, I know I hear all the time, well, natural products are just so expensive. It's cheaper to go out and buy, something made by a name brand company that may be cheaper, or even, something from the dollar store or something of that nature. What would you say to people who just have like a price aversion to the cost of natural products? What would you say to them?
Well, they are cheaper, but I'll say a casket is really expensive too. So
Mm.
here's my analogy on that. You can buy those products, but those products, they can irritate your lungs, they can irritate your skin. Those products can kill you. And I'd
Mm.
hate for you to have to sacrifice a couple of dollars just because you don't want to pay the extra for a natural product. Now, I even teach classes on how to do natural products. So
Oh,
if you don't want
wow.
to buy from me or another company that makes natural products, I also teach you how to do it just in case you frugal and you want to do it yourself. So yeah, that's what I tell them. I'm like, look, if you spend the extra now, you can prolong your life. You'll be able to see your
Mm.
grandkids and possibly your great grandkids. I mean, that's priceless.
Wow, wow. I mean, and it's the same thing with food. I know that when you go to the grocery store, chips are right there in the front and they're $1 and some change, but then when you
Right.
go to get some tomatoes and vegetables, one thing is, $4 or $5. And so
Mhm.
again, it's like pay now, pay later, but you're going to pay.
Yes. Yes.
It's just you determine whether it's on medication or if it's on, having something that's
Exactly.
natural. Wow. So I love that. I love that. And I love the fact that you say you have something for dogs. So my dog, he definitely smells when he comes inside. I mean, we take him to the groomer, but it's something about being
Mhm.
outside. When he comes in, we're like, Lord have mercy, you smell. And we actually wipe him down with baby wipes. So I think I'm going to have to check out your perfume to keep brother smelling really good when he comes in from being outside. Well, Rita, I don't
Mhm.
want you to go anywhere. We will be right back with you after this break. Thank you so much. Hold tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this break. This is Tanya Barnett, the host of The Tanya Barnett Show. Hey there, welcome back to the Tanya Barnett Show, the flyest talk show on the net. And I am so super excited about my special guest that I have tonight. Her name is Rita Pardo. Rita, are you still there?
I'm still here.
I hope Rita didn't hang up. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to see if Rita is still there. Miss Rita, you still there, hon?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, looks like Rita is not there. We're going to try to get her back in a second. Rita, whenever you come back on, hon, just let us know that you're there. And I'm
I'm
so
here.
super
Can
excited,
you can
guys,
you
to
not hear me?
talk a little bit with you tonight about the challenges that we have as 21st century women. So one of the things that Rita talked about is that she had to make a decision to come home and be home with her daughter. And so I think it's just really important for us to understand that even though we have these type of things going on, that you make the decision that's best for you. I know when I decided to come home, homeschool my children, do home daycare, I had several people, friends who were well-meaning friends, try to discourage me from that. But it's really important for you to understand that you have to make a decision that's best for you and your family. And that's something that you have to discuss with your husband. Of course, Don and I talked about losing that income. But the way I supplemented my income is I did home daycare, and I did it for several years, as well as I did before and after school care. When my babies were a little older and they left, and I was able to then go from there to doing before and after, which allowed me to substitute teach. So substitute teaching was also great for me because I was able to go to school, substitute, and then come home. And then even some of my before and after school kids, what happened is we all rode to school together and rode home back together. So it really worked out for us, and I was able to have that same income but still be home with my kids. So there are these challenges that we have as a 21st century woman, challenges that maybe our mothers didn't have. I know my mom, I'm a 70s kid, so my mother went to work. Back then, in my community, it was a two-parent household that worked. So I just think it's really important to understand that when you make these decisions as a 21st century woman, that you be okay with them and don't compare yourself with other people. It's easy to do that. I know that I did that. I watched moms go to work every day, and I was jealous. I was angry. I was depressed, all those things, watching other moms go to work every day. And so I just think it's really important to just understand, you have to do what works for you, whether you're a blogger and you see other bloggers doing different things that you think are fly and you want to do. You have to remember, stay in your lane. That's what I had to do. I'm a blogger. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, talk show host, all those things, have a nonprofit, but I have to understand that my lane is my lane, and what I do for me is what works for me and my family. Whereas my husband helps out with my nonprofit, with the Real Wife Movement. He really can't help out except for load up my car with my books and supplies, and then unload when I come home. So I just think it's really important as a 21st century woman that we allow everyone to stay in their lane without judgment. I'm really big on not judging other people and their decisions for their families. So we're going to check and see if Rita is there. Rita, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, okay. We can hear you. Yeah, I can
Okay,
hear her a
great,
little
great.
bit. Okay, Rita. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and we talked about this a little bit prior to your interview. Recently, you had an experience that involved your husband. Can you tell the audience a little bit about that?
Yeah. Actually, July the 5th, I got one of the scariest phone calls here since we've been together. He's driving trucks,
Mm-hmm.
and his boss man couldn't find him that day. And
Wow.
so I told them, I said, well, he was up late the night before because I got off the phone with him about 11 something, and he was trying to drive to New York to get to his, so he could get to his load and sleep. And I said, he's probably just sleeping. And they said, well, it looks like his GPS is still running,
Mm-hmm.
so he's not answering his phone, which is typical of him sometimes if he's just sleeping or he might be doing something,
Mm-hmm.
and he's not going to jeopardize the truck by answering the phone call. I said, okay, I'll try. I'll call him and I'll leave a message. Sometimes, he'll answer for me because of in case there's an emergency at home, he'll
Mm-hmm.
answer for me. So I didn't get him. I left him a message because I normally do. I'm like, babe, the job's looking for you. Are you okay? Just give me a call when you wake up. I told him you were asleep. Well, about 15 minutes after I left that message, his boss called and said, your husband was in an accident. Now, he didn't tell me how terrible it was or what was going on because they couldn't give him any information because he wasn't a family member.
Uh-huh.
I said, okay. So they called. He said, you got to call this phone number. So I called the number. It was this hospital, University Hospital trauma hospital in New Jersey. And I spoke with the doctor, and he said, "Are you the wife?" I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Your husband was in a terrible accident. We're getting ready to take him to radiation
Mm-hmm.
so that we can see where he's bleeding from." And he told me about what all he had broken. He said, "As of now, we just know he broke his femur in a couple of places. He broke his foot.
Wow.
He broke his heel. He broke a lot of ribs, most of his ribs. He broke his pelvic in two places. He broke his hip bone in two places, and he has several fractures in his spine." Now, he told me he just ripped it all off. He didn't sugarcoat it, which I appreciated, because I wanted to know how severe his
Right.
injuries were. But at that time, it didn't hit me that this was actually my husband. I'm like, "Okay, you got the wrong number." I was like, "You talking about Benjamin Pardo, right? Benjamin T. Pardo." I gave his
Right.
birth date and everything. I gave his social security number. He's
Right.
like, "Ma'am, this is your husband, Benjamin Pardo. He drove a truck and he was in a terrible accident." I said, "Okay." So I knew I had to hold it together because the kids were here, and I just didn't want to bawl out over the phone with them, and they trying to see what was wrong, because I knew I had other phone calls I needed to make. There was
Uh-huh.
Now it's a plan. Now it's a plan of action. It ain't time for tears, because I don't know how severe it is.
Right.
So I called people. I called his brother, and I called my mom, and called some of the elders of my Kingdom Hall, and then I said, "Look, this is what's going on. I need to do this. I need to do that." And after I got off the phone with everybody, that's when I broke down,
Right.
because I had no idea of I didn't know what my next step was going to be. I knew I
Right.
had to get to New Jersey, but I knew I had to take care of my kids first, because he was going to be okay at the hospital, but I had to take care of home first. So that took 2 days in order to expedite
Mm.
10 different women coming in through different shifts to
Wow.
take care of my children. I even
Wow.
had a nurse on call, two nurses on call for my daughter, because she stays just that sick.
Mm-hmm.
I had to expedite food. My children have allergies, so I had to make sure that the caregivers that were coming in, knew about their allergies, where the EpiPens were. I had to figure out how I was going to get up there, because we didn't have a savings. I'm trying to start a business, and it was hard for me to save, because I kept trying to cover the overhead and put everything into my business. And then
Right.
my son has a business, and so does my daughter has a business. So all the money was going out into these businesses. And my husband,
Mm.
he was getting ready to start his own trucking company too. So I had already gotten his website up and that kind of thing. So we just didn't have the savings. And I'm like, I don't have any money to get up there. I don't know where I'm going to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I need a car. And I said, "You know what, Rita, you need to pray." That's what
Right.
I did. I don't know. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I don't know what everybody else's belief system is, but if I didn't have that belief system, if I didn't have that faith that everything was
Mm.
going to be all right, I would have went completely crazy. I said, "Lord, look, I don't even know what to do right now. You know
Right.
what I need, and I need you to provide that for me right now." And within minutes, I had a plane ticket. I had somewhere to stay. I had food. I had money to go back and forth. It was just phenomenal how the community came together, how God led the spirit to these people and say, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
call her, see what she needs, see what needs to be done, take care of her children. Don't ask her what she needs, just be there." Because
Right.
people were saying, "What do you need?" And I said, "I really don't know. I don't know what I need right now. I just know I need to get to New Jersey." So I flew up to New Jersey that Friday, and I stayed to that Wednesday, and I'm going back again this Friday.
Wow, wow. So Rita, I had an opportunity to, we communicated during that whole ordeal, and me and my husband still are praying for Ben and a speedy recovery. Um, but let me ask you something, and we're talking about from the 21st century woman perspective. What did you learn as far as a mom and a wife from this experience that maybe something that I can take notes tonight, from this experience as a wife? My husband is the sole money earner in our home, and so what is something that you want to impart in wives or in moms that we need to know, um, to prepare us, or what type of wisdom would you give to women like us?
Always, always, always be transparent with your spouse, because My husband had his checking account and I had mine, and we just never did really come together financially. We could never agree financially. We couldn't even agree to disagree when it came to money. So money was always a big issue for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we had one joint checking account. Now his checking account is what he had, and my other checking accounts is what I had.
Mm-hmm.
His name isn't on them, and my name is not on his.
Okay.
So when it came down to the point of having a power of attorney or a living will, I didn't have that. So now I needed to be able to handle his finances. I need to be able to handle his medical bills. And me as the
Wow.
wife
Wow.
had no authority whatsoever. It took me well over a week just to get the power of attorney so that I could go into his finances, move money here, move money there,
Mm.
see if we had money for food, see if we had money for mortgage, see if he had a payment set up here, a payment set up there. Because with the bills, I paid a couple of bills and he paid the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And with the mortgage, I was like, I don't want, don't, no, you pay it. I don't even want, my name ain't even got to be on it. He's like, no, we're going to leave your name on there because the house is in both of our names.
Uh-huh.
He said, no, I'm just, in case something happens. I never thought that something would happen. And now that
Right.
it did, I wasn't prepared. I was not prepared.
Mm.
And you need to have some type of bond with your husband that you don't ever, ever, ever go to bed mad. Because there were times that I did go to bed in a provoked state. And the Bible specifically says, do not let the sun set with you in a provoked state.
Right.
And I've done that at times. But Tanya,
I have too. I have too.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you. You mentioned one time, I don't remember where it was, but you know, we follow each other on social media, and you always said, you know, don't make sure you're not mad with your husband. Y'all talk it out, even if y'all up till 2, 3 in the morning, talk it out. I was
Right.
so glad and thankful that was not one of those nights, because had it been one of those nights, it would have been almost 2 weeks before I had heard my husband's voice.
Wow.
And
Wow.
that night, I talked with him till about 11. And when I was getting his phone situated, he was the last person I talked to that night as well. So I could feel okay. I had no guilt of thinking, okay, well, I made him upset. I wondered if I upset him, and that's why he had the accident. Man, I sure wish I would have told him that I loved him. I didn't tell him, and now he didn't make it. And it's those types of things.
Wow.
If you
That's
love
heavy,
somebody,
Rita. That's heavy.
you really need to get it together, and never, ever, ever, I don't care how mad y'all are, if you got to take breaks, if you got to take 10, 15-minute breaks, because to know that I may have not ever heard his voice again. When I went in there, he had like a ventilator. He couldn't talk. He was all swollen up, and I didn't even recognize him. And Tanya, if I had went to bed and not known if I would ever hear his voice again,
Wow.
it would have been hard. I would have not ever been able to forgive myself. So that's one of the biggest things, y'all. If you are married, if that is your spouse, y'all really need to have a conversation about if you have the power of attorney, if you have a living will, what they want, if they pass, if they die. If you have stepchildren, I'm going to tell you right now, you need to know exactly what the stepchildren will get, how much rights they have, because they will come in and just take over because that's their father. And I understand that. But please, stepchildren have their place. Their children have their place.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife comes before any of that. And I've had to deal with that as well. And that's really emotional to try to keep peace for everybody when the main thing should be the well-being of my husband. So it's been really, really stressful just trying to make sure everything is taken care of, and I'm doing it by myself.
Wow. So, ladies, I mean, the key thing that Rita said was, number one, making sure everything is right and tight. Y'all know I say it all the time. Make sure it's right and tight with your husbands. Regardless if you're beefing, you need to squash your beef. I don't care if you're listening right now. If you have a beef, make sure you squash that beef, because you just never know. In a blinking of an eye, anything can happen in your relationship. Also, make sure you have a power of attorney. So I'm going to go home and talk to my husband about doing a power of attorney, him one for me and vice versa. And then, like she said, having access to money. If you do not have joint accounts, this would be a time to consider that. With her husband being in the hospital in intensive care, Rita didn't have access to his money. But she still had to take care of her 3 children, and then she also brought up the additional stress of having stepchildren involved as well. So these are real serious conversations we need to have. You need to be vulnerable. Make sure you set these things up. I know they're hard conversations to have with your spouse, but it's just really, really important today. I don't care where y'all are in your relationship. I don't care if you've been married 25 years, 25 days, whatever. Y'all need to be talking about a special power of attorney. You need to have a living will, like she said. Make sure that stuff is taken care of, because like she said, she has not had an opportunity to actually talk to her husband because he's still in intensive care. And then she still has children at home that need to be taken care of. And Rita, one of the things you said was you had to make sure that people knew where their EpiPens were, about their diets. So for me, I know I only took care of that when my husband and I went on vacation. But I never thought about the day to day, because there are times when my son goes to football practice. He's getting ready to go to 10th grade. I'm like, where's your EpiPen? Where's your inhaler? And I don't know where that stuff is. There's been times in the middle of the night he's had an asthma attack, and we're running around the house looking for a daggone inhaler. So these are really important. I'm even thinking of putting together a kit or something where something was to happen and we had to have family members come in, that everything is in a one area where it's just you can pick up and go. If you got to take somebody to somebody's house or a child or whatever, and having access to those medical devices, as well as, like you said, having access to a power of attorney and a living will. So after this break, y'all, we're going to wrap this up with Rita. Rita, just hold tight right there so we can get your contact information right after this break, the Tanya Barnett Show.
Okay.
Listen vision, listen vision, DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, DC's #1 recording studio.
Hey there, fam. This is Tanya Barnett, your host of the Tanya Barnett Show, the flyest talk show on the net, where we talk about all things pertaining to the 21st century woman. So my special guest tonight has been Rita Pardo, the creator and founder of Naturally Me and You. Rita, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, awesome. So Rita, you talked about your natural product line that you produce. Can you tell people where they can find you and how they can purchase your products?
I am on Naturally Me and You on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Except for Twitter, it's Naturally Me and You with the U, because, with Twitter, they funny with the letter. I also have a special going on for this month. You get a free gift, any order. You get a free lotion and you get a shower steamer. And my website is naturalmyandyou.com.
Awesome. I wish I knew that before I bought my all-natural sunscreen and my all-natural lotion and my all-natural lip balm. I wish I knew you had a sale coming up, girl. So you need to slip me something in the mail. So
I got you, girl.
Well, Rita, I just wish you all the best. I'm wishing that your husband has a speedy recovery. I know that he's got a long road. Are you still looking at not seeing him him not coming home for about 2 months. I think you said the last time we talked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be about 2 months. He's still in ICU. So it's going to be about 2 months. He did get the ventilator out, and he did get out the chest tube. So he's improving, but
Okay.
he caught a little bit of pneumonia, so that set him back a little bit.
Okay. And now, is there a GoFundMe campaign or anything like that, or where can people donate if they want to help out? Because I know with your husband being in ICU, that's a loss of wages, and with you being a stay-at-home mom, I want to help. I know that my family has donated, but where can people donate to your family to help offset some of the lost wages?
I do have a GoFundMe set up. Just go to GoFundMe and look under Rita Pardo, and it'll say Forbidden Pardo's medical expenses.
Mm-hmm.
Or some have just donated to my PayPal directly, which is that PayPal address is naturallymeandyou@yahoo.com. So either way, it's fine. But
okay,
yeah,
awesome. So
donations.
if you want to help Rita and her family pay for her husband's medical bills, as well as she has a special needs child at home and 2 other kids, make sure you check out her on GoFundMe. And also her email is naturallymeandyou@yahoo. Not her email. Her PayPal account is naturallymeandyou@yahoo.com. So ladies, please take heed. I'm thankful Rita was scheduled. We had her scheduled like 2 months ago for today. And I know that God allows things to happen the way they do. I think this is a wake-up call for all of us, especially those of us who have children at home, and those of us who work from home, such as Rita and myself, that anything can happen and you need to be prepared. So Rita, we will continue lifting you and your family up in prayers. If you need anything from me, I got you. I'm back and forth to Atlanta all the time. So, I love you, girl. And I'm just praying that, your husband can be transported from Jersey to Georgia. I know 2 months is a long time, but we want him to be stable enough to travel back home so that you can take care of him. So thank you, Rita, so much for being my guest tonight. And we will chit chat on the other side.
Okay. Thank you for having me, Tanya. Love you, girl.
Love you too, sis.
Okay,
all right, guys, that is it for me tonight. I'm Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show. My special guest next week is Rosalind Goodwin. She is the founder of Gabby Bows, and it is a hair bow for your daughters. So her and her daughter Gabrielle run Gabby Bows. Gabby just won several pitch contests. She was actually on Steve Harvey's Thunderdome, as well as some other things, Black Enterprise, things of that nature. And so Gabby is doing the darn thing. I think Gabby's like 8 or 9 years old, and she has her own business. So you will not be disappointed to meet her mom, mompreneur, mom manager, all those fancy fly names that we call our 21st century women here on the Tanya Barnett Show. I will see you next week. Have a good one.
Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio.
Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya. When we talk about real things, talk about life things, the 21st century woman gotta get right. Entrepreneurship, motherhood, marriage, divorce, dating, healthy living, and thriving, of course. It's the Tanya Barnett Show. It's the Tanya Barnett Show.
Hey there, this is Tanya Barnett, the host of the Tanya Barnett Show, where we discuss the unique challenges of the 21st century women. So buckle up and get ready, sister, to get your life right.